I spent 4 days in a Wim Hof breathwork retreat. I climbed up snowy mountains. I took ice baths in nature. And this experience pushed me in ways that I didn't expect. So in this vlog, I'm going to share with you my experiences, but I'm also going to talk about why putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is great for handling life when life gets tough. Now, you don't actually have to climb mountains or put yourself in freezing rivers to get these benefits, but this retreat was an extreme example of a lot of lessons around mental resilience. So in this video, I'm going to break down those lessons so that you can apply it into your own lives without actually having to climb any mountains. So if you don't know me, a little bit of background about myself. My name is Kaye. I am a nutritionist. I'm currently in school studying nutrition science and dietetics. I also have 2 breathwork certifications, one from the Miami Ice Club. That's where I teach breathwork and guide people through ice baths. As a practitioner, I take ice baths pretty much daily. I do breathwork daily. I think there are a lot of benefits that we're going to talk about in this video. So in an odd way, I feel like I've been kind of training for this moment for a few years now. So I guess we'll see if all that training can be put into actual practice, because taking ice baths in Miami in a warm environment is a lot different than climbing snowy mountains and taking actual ice baths. This retreat is being hosted by my mentor and the owner of Miami Ice Club, Donato and Priscilla. They're both building an amazing retreat center called Six Fields in Fine Creek, North Carolina. Definitely give them a follow, check out their website, and I highly recommend that you join any of their future retreats. They do a great job at making it feel like it's your second home. Anyways, guys, let's start off with the first night at the Six Fields Wim Hof retreat. As soon as we arrived, we were warmly welcomed. We introduced ourselves to each other and got to know each other even more over a deliciously home-cooked meal by the hosts. We started every morning not allowed to talk, or a better way of phrasing it is we were invited to listen to our thoughts on a deeper level without any stimuluses from outside sources and just pure mental stillness. Every morning I used this time to journal any thoughts I had from the previous day and any thoughts or intentions that I wanted to pay attention to for the current day. And finally, before breaking the silence, what would be a Wim Hof retreat without Wim Hof breathing? This isn't going to be a full explanation about the Wim Hof method, so I suggest that you research separate from this video. But in summary, Wim Hof has developed a method around breathing, cold exposure, and intentional mental focus. He believes this can improve your health and well-being physically and mentally. The breathing portion of his method is a type of cyclic hyperventilation that offloads a significant amount of CO2 from the body. Because you're offloading so much CO2, this gives you the ability to hold your breath with no air in your lungs for an abnormally long period of time. After a long breath hold, you enter a hypoxic state, aka you're hacking your system to basically be able to get to extremely low levels of oxygen in your body that normally wouldn't be possible. During the breath hold, your body releases norepinephrine and cortisol. This release in norepinephrine increases alertness, energy, and is a powerful systemic anti-inflammatory. This is just one example of deliberately putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Breathwork isn't sexy. It's somewhat boring, repetitive, and it requires patience. But all the benefits come after. Just like most of life's genuine feelings of happiness almost always have a period of pain and discomfort before you get rewarded. The opposite is true for most of the junk we chase. Quick pleasures first, negative consequences after. Deliberately choosing to do something hard instead of the quick pleasures, I think, is a habit that most people lack, but is an essential characteristic to be successful in anything. Interesting morning so far. Being from Florida, I'm not used to putting so many layers of clothing, but it's about 10 degrees outside. And we're also gonna eventually be going into a cold plunge. Also, something I've noticed is fingers and toes will start getting white because of the lack of blood. So it's gonna be pretty interesting after getting out of the cold plunge how I'm gonna get blood circulation back to my fingers and toes. Also, fun fact, I have 3 pairs of socks on right now. Miami native problems.
Oh yeah, hitting your foresty calisthenics. Nice. Your brain is supposed to protect you from danger, but all it does recently, since we're rarely in danger, is keep us from changing and keep us from becoming a better person. So the idea here is to do something that your brain may not think you're capable of doing, but everyone here is capable of doing that. So all we're gonna do is get into the mindset that I'm going in. Your brain's gonna say that it doesn't want you. You don't get what your brain says. We're gonna be in the waterfall for 3 minutes. It's not enough time for you to die of hypothermia, but it's definitely enough time for you to feel like you jumped in a cold waterfall. Your brain is gonna be hoping that you turn around and get out. So whatever your brain says is bullshit.
I had lots of emotions running through my mind. As I was stripping down to just my bathing suit, it started to really hit me with how real this actually was. Part of me was excited to test all my training up to this point, but part of me had this doubt that could I even do this because the ground was so cold and my fingers and toes felt like they were going to fall off. But then, all of the lessons that I've learned at the Ice Club started to surface, and I was reminded that I am capable of hardship because I have done so in the past. I was able to cut through all the illusions and fears, and I found my inner confidence just before getting into my first real cold plunge. I believe that many times people fall victim to their fears and illusions that the mind creates. Many times in life it feels like you're facing a bigger tiger, but once you can cut through all the illusions, you realize it's just a baby cat. Once I got into the cold lake, I realized this, and I found my inner strength.
Cayecito! That's why we have him in the Ice Club. Look at him. He's in it, coaching people. Fuck yeah, Kaya. All that time in the Ice Club paying off, huh?
Finally. One of the main reasons for me taking this trip was to see how far I could push my ability to remain calm and clear-minded while in extreme discomfort. This may have been the dumbest thing that I've done this entire trip. My toes were already extremely numb, but I am extremely competitive with myself, and this challenge was very attractive. I couldn't let this opportunity slip. The raw, primal energy, the confidence boost, and the rush of adrenaline made it all worth it. An eventful day to say the least, and a perfect way to finish bonding all together in a relaxing hot tub to end day 1. Day 2 started very similar to day 1, with a silent mindfulness followed by a powerful Wim Hof breathwork session and a wholesome home-cooked breakfast buffet. With good fuel to start the morning, we are ready for our second adventure. The next challenge, the hike was relatively short, and the hike was actually going downhill. Day 1's challenge was more or less similar to an ice bath back home. You jump in and you try to control your breath. But today's challenge was to somehow maneuver through the icy water and stand under an extremely cold waterfall. As I stripped down to my bathing suit, I started to feel much colder than I did yesterday, and the same doubtful voices started getting louder and louder in my head. But also similar to yesterday, I changed the perspective, and I started seeing the glass half full. I realized this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to face my fears and to truly test my stress resilience. With the support of my sensei Donato, and with every step I took in the icy waters, I started feeling more and more confident. I started shedding all of the fears, and I fully embraced the cold by trying to sit as calmly as I could on an icy bark of wood. Finally, with full confidence, I got under the waterfall, and as soon as I got in, I almost immediately fell, not expecting the pressure of the waterfall being so strong. It felt like it was purposely trying to knock me down, as if it were alive somehow. I felt something snap inside me, something so primal that I stood up and let out the most primal scream I've ever made in my entire life. Day 3, I remember waking up feeling like I needed to sleep another 8 hours. On top of that, my body was extremely sore and beat up. But Donato offered one last challenge for the last day. Today's challenge was to hike down from our cabin down to a lake, only in our bathing suits and hiking boots. Then take an ice bath and then hike back up in our wet bathing suits. Let's briefly talk about how the situation relates to real life stress and how stress doesn't always have to be bad. When most people think about cortisol and stress, it's usually a negative association. However, this is only true for chronic stress. This is because of hormesis. Hormesis is basically the theory of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There are some forms of stress that in small amounts can in return give you positive benefits. But the caveat is it has to be in the right dose. If the dose is too high or if the dose lasts too long, then that's when it becomes chronic stress and you'll start receiving negative consequences instead of the positive benefits. This trip was a great example of how we can push our minds and bodies to the extreme for a short period of time that in the moment causes a lot of fatigue and inflammation on many counts. But after the appropriate rest, it will induce cellular resilience. Your body and mind will be rebuilt, but with a stronger baseline mentally and physically. It's always important to follow up bouts of physical or mental stress with periods of rest and recovery so you don't fall under the chronic stress trap.
Oh yeah! How you feeling?
Euphoric.
Big inhale, big exhale, big inhale, big scream, man. Come on.
Let's
Good work.
Thank you. Thank you, Sensei.
You're welcome, brother. Hey, how you feeling? Earned that hot tub, huh?
Oh yeah, it feels so good.